Hey guys, Mike Pattern Trader. It's been a long time since I made a video. It's July 13th. There wasn't really much to add or to update. We just kept consolidating, and more likely than not, it was, personally speaking, I still think it's distribution. But some points I want to make before getting into some detailed analysis. A one-to-one extension from the actual top itself hit when we dumped back down to roughly about 55.8 candle close on a daily basis. So I haven't really allocated capital towards any new altcoins. I just bought some GOG originally, like I told you guys a couple of weeks back and whatnot. But I think I'm going to actually take initiative now in the next couple of days, or maybe even a week or so, for a strictly a move, not long-term hold, but strictly a move, for a move back up to at least give or take 65 to 66,000. But I'll give you guys a little bit of a map as to what I'm expecting to take place if we do happen to go down for one more low, which is likely. But I'll show you the two options that I'm playing with right now. Again, the one-to-one extension from the main high that took place in March originally was supposed to be 55,000 and hit. Now, I'm not saying that we're out of the water completely for us to not be able to go down to like maybe 52 or 51,000, but for now, this is a decent enough level with good invalidation for us to go back up to at least minimum 63 to $66,000. I'm gonna delete all this real quick. I'm gonna put on, get rid of everything, just to have the golden pocket as we're charting. I'm gonna leave these two particular ones on. All right. Ideally, you want to see BTC bottom here, okay? But if there is bullish news, we're probably not going to even see the 40s, and we're going to stop between 49 and $50,000, which is going to be this particular extension, the 1.272. Anyway, I'm not an extension guy, but I felt like sharing that. TMA bands. We're sitting on the 5-day TMA band, which is beautiful, right? If you look at the past, the black one is the 2-week, which is mandatory to have on your chart. Okay, add the weekly. So now we have the weekly, the 2-week, and then the one that's a straight line is the 5-day. The reason why these are important is because if you look at BTC and how it reacts on these particular TMA bands, it always goes back for consolidation. So now if you look at the previous all-time highs that we took place, right? We spent, where is this? We spent a good 69 days. Rather, let me take the whole range. We spent 104 days before breaking down and losing the 2-week. But we consolidated in this box, which was between the 2-week and the weekly and the 5-day. Consolidated again over here. Consolidated again over here. Sorry. Right? And now we haven't really done another consolidation. So I think we're pretty far away from an actual breakout. And whatever move we get to the top right now is going to be either a bearish retest or just a range move, because the range is pretty big. We're talking about a massive range between 55 and like $75,000, $73,000. So at least a 30 to 40% range, which could yield some decent moves for altcoins. Anyway, so I do believe that we are going to go back to touch the weekly TMA band, and the weekly TMA band is the green one, right? So that is where I think that I'm gonna probably dump all my capital back in. As of right now, what I'm gonna try to do is catch a move to the top side. The weekly TMA band, I'm gonna identify for us and put it in Discord so you guys could see it. The weekly TMA band is currently sitting at 50,460 and 67. Weekly TMA likely acts as a magnet. Okay, this way it's on the chart, we have it, we know what has to happen, and as the weeks go by, as the days go by, this weekly TMA band, not days, weeks actually rather, it's a weekly, will elevate and we'll get closer and closer to the 51 52k range, right? So now let's go back into the actual chart itself. Open up the VWAPs. We tagged the quarterly VWAP, the previous quarterly VWAP, which is perfect for us to get a decent reaction to the top side. So what I'm thinking will take place right now is you obviously want to get above the $63,000 range. This box will be the first area of interest when it comes to bears, right? This is going to be the first area of interest of rejection. If we cannot get above this, no matter what we do, we're going lower. We're going to make a lower low if we cannot get above this. This breakdown right here, this isn't a deviation. This isn't, hey, I deviated and I'm going to go back up and fly. It doesn't work that way, guys. This is a breakdown. Like, you broke down from the whole range. So what needs to happen, more likely than not, is to play it safe. You break above this, and then you come back and you retest this, and that is your safe entry to a move back up to all-time highs. This isn't, hey, I'm going to just assume this is a deviation and keep buying. And everyone that keeps saying just buy the dip, I guarantee you, if you look at the altcoins, guys, they've been making lower lows the whole time. So how much dip are you going to buy before you run out of capital? Now, if you have an ultimate cash machine just constantly printing money for you, you can keep buying the dip and, you know, dollar cost completely down to where we are. That's a perfectly fine strategy, but you have to be smart about where the dip actually, where the dip actually dips and stops. There is no floor right now for these altcoins, man. You can make lower lows, so be very careful. Again, if we get above the red box, we're going to easily go to $66,000, and I think that will be the top before going lower. I don't think that we are on the verge of going to all-time highs for the time being. Q3, which is currently what we're in right now, quarter 3 of the year, is usually a position quarter. So I'm probably going to position myself accordingly in Q3 for a move in Q4. And then at Q4, I'm probably going to exit the market as a whole, because I don't really want to be part of that whole presidential, I don't know what's going to happen. Elections are pretty rocky, man. Elections are like, a lot of volatility comes when there's around elections, usually every 4 years and whatnot. I don't want to be part of that. So what I'm expecting right now is, if I am correct, this is going to go back up over here and break and come back down and then go up to all-time high, or option 2, from here, come here, then break down, then go back up. So I'm going to change the color. One's going to remain red, one's going to remain green, so you have an idea of what I'm expecting in the next couple of weeks. Ideally, guys, in the next maybe 3 to 7 days, we should be moving to the top side. We should be pivoting. These oscillators, let me get rid of the DMX. These oscillators, they're ready, man. They're primed. This is the first time. The reason why I'm even making the video is because this is the first time since May, right? Since May. Again, guys, everybody could keep telling you that I'm buying the fucking dip. But the minute you have a bearish dump on a daily basis on an MSTX, it takes a very long time to turn bull. A very long time. And we officially became crazy bearish May 30th. I'm going to make this red. Actually, I'll make this black. May 30th was the ultimate bear fucking cross. And then the retest, the over-under, like how we call it. This is the bearish retest, right, guys? This is the bearish over-under. So we take your top, go back up, your retest. This is your over-under. This is your bearish over-under. Once that happens, you dumped. What was the dump? Like at least 20%, right? From here, 25% of a dump. It's perfectly fine. That's enough to reset a daily MSTX. But if you look at the most important time frame, which is the 3-day and the weekly, look at this. This is still bear, man. They're all trending down. So what am I really buying? I'm buying a temporary relief pump. Just keep that in mind. For me, this is a trade. This is not a, hey, let me buy spot, hold it for 3-4 years, right? I'm not doing that, because I think that, personally speaking, we're going to get better opportunities and better entries. Look at the weekly. Weekly just turned bear, right? So the weekly dump didn't even happen yet. Right, so if the daily did a 25 or 24% dump, what's going to happen when the weekly actually triggers? So what I'm thinking right now with this weekly is that we're going to go back up for a retest, and that's going to be the main big dump that's going to fuck everybody out of the market, man. Right? The 2-week finally gave us a histo fire. That's why I was not buying. I was not buying any altcoins until I saw this histo fire, this orange histo fire. You cannot assume the dump is done if the 2-week has not histo fired. Never happened in any previous patterns of BTC. All these histo fires that turned orange were the dumps on the 2-week. You always got to look at that, guys. Right? Look at them. They are the main dumps that start. And keep in mind, personally speaking, I think that the weekly hasn't even triggered yet for us to get the actual dump. And I'm hoping it comes from relatively higher, because if it comes from where we are right now, we're going to go down to like the low 40s, man, and 30s. So I don't even want to think about that. So again, right now, what I'm thinking about is going to happen is weekly TMA has to trigger for me. When the weekly TMA triggers, I'm going to unload all my capital that I have on the side. I'm going to go back into the market, risk on, and I'm going to target all-time highs. All right, I'm going to put that in here so this way it gets consistent. If weekly TMA taps, I will look for bullish over-unders and unload capital for a target of all-time high. Let's make this neater. Stick it somewhere on this map so you guys could see it. I'm posting this in the Discord. Don't worry, guys. Where are we? Here we go. Dance with me, boys. Dance with me. You guys can't hear the music in the background, right? That's okay. All right. So this is the game plan for me right now. Area of interest of bears is officially this red box. If we do happen to get a wick all the way down here at the low 40s, at the mid 40s, it's gonna be a little scary, but good buying opportunity. And keep in mind, guys, again, one more time, I'm going to minimize this. I'm gonna minimize this. When you see this type of consolidation here, right, and everything is compressing, all the TMA bands are compressing, it's bullish. So when I see that again, I'm gonna assume we're reaccumulating, guys. Right? Like over here, we topped out. We were ranging under the TMA bands, under them, but we're coming from an actual top that was bearish and we collapsed. We bottomed here. We started accumulating, or let's just say ranging again in the middle of these compressed TMA bands, and we pumped to the top side. So this is the first time after the breakout, right? This is the first time. I need to go to a clean BTC chart. This way I can show you guys. Okay, this is the first time right here. This is going to be after the bottom, right? And this was, oh, we don't even have the TMA, but it was like this, right? This was the TMA band. And this over here was after the top, okay? Now this is the first time we're retesting all these TMA bands after we broke out over here, guys. The 2 week hasn't been tapped yet. So you see how this is pointing up? So I'm very confident that this is going to eventually poke to the top side, and when we do happen to keep doing this, something like this, it will act like support, and it's going to pick us up, guys. I know this is kind of, not neat, but anyway, keep in mind, another thing I want to talk to you guys about. Labor Day. Labor Day is in September, guys. We usually pivot in September, right? Labor Day. Pivot, collapsed. Labor Day. Pivot, pumped. Labor Day. Pivot, pumped. So more likely than not, guys, the positioning in Q3 will prepare you for the September move. I don't know if the pivot's going to be bullish or bearish, guys, but I'm pretty confident that come September, we're going to pivot. And we're going to pivot hard. And if that pivot is bullish, we're talking about probably a significant move to the top side for altcoins and for BTC and the whole market as a whole. So I'm playing it like this. I haven't updated anybody in a very long time because there was nothing really for me to say. That market looked like shit. I wasn't really buying anything. I was just like splashing money if I saw an opportunity to present itself to a DCA in. But again, everything looks pretty awful. But this is what I'm assuming will take place in the next maybe 3 to 7 days. Pump to the top side. Hopefully 65, 66 does give us that rejection, because, or even if it rejects at 61, 62, doesn't matter. You want BTC to come down to low 50s, guys. Like, that's, you need it. You don't want it to come from all-time highs. You want it to come now. We buy and we ride it up to all-time highs. There is no way that this low over here needs to hold. It doesn't make any sense for me from a pattern perspective, and it doesn't make any sense for me from a reset perspective. It will be a lot healthier if we get a bull div on like the weekly, or on the actually 3-day might potentially have one. Hold on, let me see if this is a 3-day. Does not have one. I want to see, for starters, a bull div on the 3-day will make me feel a lot better. No, this fell down, this fell down, this fell down. Won't work. It will not work. But anyway, let's see. The daily could potentially be putting one. Daily put one in over here. If we go for a third div, this will be the third div, which is going to be first, second, third leg. But anyway, I want to see one more lower low, guys. I do. I do 100%. It'll make me feel a lot more confident, guys. And DM me if you have any questions. I've been MIA. I apologize ahead of time, but I mean, there's nothing really for me to say, man. The market just trash. We've been tracking the whole time. We pumped, and then we've been going since all-time highs until now. 122 days just ranging. Hasn't really done nothing. We've been in one big ass range. And don't forget, guys, the weekly has not dumped yet. I don't know how else I could stress this. The weekly has not dumped yet. So when the dump happens on the weekly time frame, we have to be prepared, and we gotta hope that it comes from a lot higher. Because if it comes from here, we're fucked. Okay? Cheers.